completion of any important undertaking.
In the name of the whole fraternity, I solemnly rededicate this hall to universal benevolence.
Brethren, prepare to give the grand honors. Together, brethren. Would everyone please rise again?
And may the Lord, the giver of every good and perfect gift, bless the brethren here assembled in all their lawful undertakings, and grant to each one of them in needful supply the corn of nourishment, the wine of refreshment, and the oil of joy. Amen.
So let it be.
By order of the most worshipful Grand Master, I hereby proclaim that the hall in which we are assembled has been rededicated to the purposes of Freemasonry in new and ancient forms. All persons interested will take due notice and govern themselves accordingly.
Your chaplain pretty hard. But he appears that he's not going to need medical attention. If those of you that didn't see our practice, you'd be amazed. Is that true? The last one we did was on November 7th, and that was over in Illinois. And so it's been a while, and we were a little bit rusty for our practice. The Grand Lodge officers did a magnificent job. I brought all of them today. Thank you, John. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they were all praying at lunch there. And speaking of that, I want to thank you very much on behalf of the Grand Lodge officers for that meal. Thank you very much. The ladies that were pouring tea are back over here watching all of this. Brother Tom Hess, your senior warden, is going to give us a presentation on the history of A.W. Rawson Lodge. He's promised, how many? You said 4 minutes and 29 seconds or something. Take your time, please.
Thank you, Grand Master. My name is Todd Hess. I'm the senior warden and lodge historian. I guess they elected me years ago. I have a 1-minute lecture prepared, but they said they want 20 minutes, so I'll wing it here. Okay? This lodge is named A.W. Rawson after its founder, who was Asa Warren Rawson. He was a man from Illinois who ended up being a physician in Freeport. He helped open the Excelsior Lodge in Freeport in 1850. He started our lodge in 1852. Now that was 17 years before this town was actually established. So it was a long time ago. Even Fred wasn't born back then, right? You can't reach me from here. He was the master of this lodge from 1852 to 1854. In 1854, the lodge received the actual charter from the Grand Lodge of Illinois. And then about that time, the original lodge building was built on about this location, a little bit to the south, but basically near here. It's a 2-story frame building, about half the size of this one. Dr. Rawson moved to Santa Cruz, California in 1856, and if you imagine that travel was a fun one in 1850s. He died in 1861 at the Santa Cruz Lodge. He was the worshipful master at that time. Okay, now let's move forward 63 years and 25 lodge officers later to the night of Friday, March 22nd, 1917. The lodge had been newly remodeled. The brothers had been at the lodge most of the day doing lodge work, doing degrees, moving brothers along in the degrees. And then that night there was a banquet as well for the officers and their wives, and it got over about midnight. And they all went peacefully home. And unfortunately, the next morning, on Saturday, the 23rd, 1917, the town was awakened by the dreaded sound of the fire bell. And it turned out that the building immediately adjacent to the lodge at that time, to the north side, was on fire at 4:15 in the morning. Well, the fire department rolled as best they could back then. Not as good as today, right, Steve? And they couldn't put it out. There were wood structures. Both structures were lost, totally burned to the ground. I had pictures the next morning. It looked pretty sad. Total loss to both buildings. The little shop next door was a shoe repair store and real estate office and a few other things. They both burned to the ground. The cost to the lodge at then was $3,500, and that equates to $65,000 in today's dollars. So it was a big loss to them. Let's see, gotta get one. Yeah, Merton Howarth was the master. The Lodge brothers then immediately started meeting then in the Gar Hall, or Oddfellows Hall, which is down on Main and 3rd Street, and they expressed in their minutes that they missed the money. The money was a big issue, but the biggest thing they missed or felt bad about was the loss of the pictures of the past masters that were on the walls of the hall that were irreplaceable. So we've never seen pictures of most of our past masters from back then. They quickly decided to rebuild the lodge. Because at times some lodges will burn down and not be rebuilt, but ours decided they would rebuild it at any cost. And the cornerstone was laid for the new lodge on July 19th of that same year. And the new lodge would be twice as big as the old lodge, and this is the lodge we're in right now today. As a matter of fact, if you walk outside, you'll see the cornerstone in the northeast corner that says that date. You can double check me. It was completed on March 13th, 1918 for their stated meeting, just in time for their stated meeting on that date. Okay. Now we'll fast forward again 93 years and 76 lodge masters later to the morning of June 8th, 2009. Still fresh in a lot of our minds. As a matter of fact, I was in the barn. My wife said, "The lodge is on fire." I'm like, "No, can't be." But sure enough, we got up here. What had happened, the lightning struck the southwest corner of the lodge roof. Early in the morning, and it was thought maybe as early as 4 o'clock in the morning again, but smoldered for a while and then eventually started bursting into flames. Luckily, concerned citizens noticed this, some smoke rolling out of there, and notified the fire department. And Steve, would you stand up for just a second? Steve's our fire chief here. We thank you. Along with, there was like 15 fire departments that responded, because as soon as they heard that it was a downtown Pecatonica fire, they all busted their butts and got here, because you want to burn the whole town down like they almost did in the 70s. And Brother Gary Laro was one of the first firemen on scene. He's also a brother here. And he luckily helped with Steve and made sure things were covered and properly handled so we didn't lose the furniture and so forth of the lodge. So we really appreciate his work as well. The fire department really took good care of us. And as a matter of fact, as the Grand Master stated earlier, a few of us were out there standing out in the street, wringing our hands and thinking, what are we going to do? And Steve Van Vleck said, you can go up to the lodge and take out some important things if you want. So here we came with the fire escape. The firemen were in here in their masks and suits and everything. We go walking up in their tennis shoes and T-shirts. And they look at us, what are you doing? I said, Steve said. I said, okay. So we started moving things around. I got some really good pictures. Well, not their best pictures, but of firemen moving pillars. My favorite thing in the lodge is pillars. And moving them across here. There's a couple of them moving the pillars, which kind of touching things. I do have some on our website. There are some pictures of some of the fire damage and some of the activity that went on. Okay, where are we? The Lodge brothers started meeting in Winnebago Lodge. The Winnebago Lodge trying to allow us to use their lodge during the interim when we were getting this rebuilt. The second floor, the structure was saved. The second floor was totally gutted due to fire, smoke, and water damage. And it didn't look like this before. So our master, Dave Zimmerman, who's up there in the east right now, luckily is very well versed in building and design work. We wonder why the design work, but he is really good at that. And you commented on the color schemes and all that, all came from him. This lodge looks more 1917 now than it did in 1917, to be honest with you. It was pretty much a rectangular box in here. All these nice pilasters and other touches in here weren't here. It was a rectangular room. The nice lighting wasn't here. It looks 1917 now, more than it did back then. He also made sure that we modernized it to 21st century. So we got insulated walls, got new furnace, new plumbing, new electrical. So it should last another 100 years, barring any kind of fire or anything like that. The lodge was completed. This room was completed. The upstairs was completed by our stated meeting on December 22nd, 2009. So what you're seeing today is the work of all, the result of all. Well, that means I should take more time? Okay. Along with the work of the fire department in saving this lodge and the work of Worshipful Brother David Zimmerman in designing and executing his designs, a lot of brothers also put a lot of sweat and money into this thing and did a lot of the work ourselves. And it's very rewarding. And now, the one thing the brothers all agree on in this lodge is that it is our responsibility to maintain and convey the legacy of our lodge to our future generations of Masons, like my two boys over here. They're 12 and want to be Masons worse than anything in the world. We need to convey that on to them. And this ceremony today, I believe, really confirms and celebrates that mission. Thank you, Grand Master.
Thank you, Brother Hess. That's the one thing we didn't practice. Our grand, we'll talk about that later. What I'd like to do is I want to ask our Grand Marshal, Brother James. He told me he's going to use middle names, so I'm going to too. Brother James Orris Schrum and his lady Betsy. They're from Fairview, Illinois. And Jim's going to introduce all of our Grand Lodge officers who are here.
Thank you, Grand Master. Brethren, ladies and gentlemen, I have a long list of introductions that I have to make. And anybody that's ever gone to a Masonic function knows that's probably one of the first or the last things we do, introduce everybody. So these first brethren that I will introduce, I would ask you to, hopefully you will want to applaud after I introduce them. So if you would hold your applause until I get them on their feet. The first group of brethren that I'm going to introduce are the cymbal bearers that performed an excellent job today. And I won't call them in any particular order, just what I have on my sheet. Worshipful Brother Tom Geith. Worshipful Brother Merwin Eichmann. Worshipful Brother Terry McCornack. And Worshipful Brother Mike Barr. And the principal architect today that did the marvelous job on the ritual is Worshipful Brother John Blassingham. The master of the oldest lodge is Worshipful Brother Fred Schubert. Senior deacon is Worshipful Brother Greg Deppy. And we've already introduced the senior warden, Brother Todd Hess. Excellent job on that, my brother.
Thank you, brother.
Please stand. Thank you, brother. Now, if you would give these back. Do we have any Grand Lodge representatives today in attendance? Please stand. Do we have any Lodge committee members or Lodge committee chairman? Well, we do. Oh, there's one right there. Introduce yourself, if you will, please.
Steve Walls, I'm the Western Area Coordinator for the Illinois CHIP program.
Steve Oakley, I'm Grant Representative to Oklahoma.
Thank you, brother. We have a couple of District Deputy Grand Masters in attendance today. The first one would be the first Northern District Deputy Grand Master, Right Worshipful Brother Richard Lyons. Please rise. And his lady, Linda. We also have the second West Northern District Deputy Grand Master, E. Charles Sarver, and his lady, Margie. You would give these brethren and their ladies. We have three assistant area deputy grand masters in attendance today. Two of them from the north, Right Worshipful Brother Jack Baylor, and Right Worshipful Brother Larry Smith, and his lady Diane. Then we have a Right Worshipful Brother from the northeast, Brother Gary Hare, and his lady Zoe.
She's over there.
It works well that way.
If you would give these. And we have the Northern Area District Deputy. We have the Northern Area Deputy Grand Master, Right Worshipful Brother Richard Kayer, and his lady Barbara. Let's give these. Now we have appointed officers that I'd like to introduce. The first one would be our Assistant Grand Organist, Brother Jeffrey Whitten Miller. We have the Grand Organist, Brother Thomas Raymond Osborne Jr. Jeffrey Whitten Miller is from Lanark. And Thomas Raymond Osborne Jr. is from Chicago. Sorry, my brothers. We have our grand historian today, R.J. Jack Gladden, and his lady Jackie. And they are from Champaign. We have Brother Assistant Grand Tyler Stephen Lewis Walls. He is from Springfield. Our Grand Tyler is Jeff Duncan Derrick. He's also from Springfield. We have two stewards in attendance today. Worshipful Brother Gerald Lee Franklin and his lady Susan. And they are from Grand Tower. The other steward that we have in attendance today is Worshipful Brother Benito Aguato and his lady Emmeline. And they are from Gurney. Our Worshipful Brother Grand Sword Bearer is James Larry Martin Sr. and his lady Ginger. And they are from Valier. Our Worshipful Brother Grand Standard Bearer is Thomas Ray Robertson Sr. and he is from Grand Tower. His lady Lucy is not here. Sorry about that. Our Worshipful Brother Assistant Grand Marshal is Reed J. Daniel. He is from Milan. Our Worshipful Brother Grand Pursuivant is J. Patrick Grubbs. And he is from Christopher. Our Worshipful Brother Deputy Grand Secretary is Franklin Eugene Klein, and he is from Jacksonville. Our Right Worshipful Brother Grand Chaplain is Kenneth Norman Overturf and his lady Alice Marie, and they are from Sauget. Our Worshipful Brother Junior Grand Deacon is Stephen Forrest Oakley and his lady Deborah, and they are from Prairie du Brashear. Our Worshipful Brother Senior Grand Deacon is Gregory Lee Clark and his lady Gertie, and they are from Bloomington. Let's give these brethren and their ladies. Brethren and ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor now of introducing the elected Grand Lodge officers.